Everybody, I'm going to read Bartholomew and the Oobleck. This is one of my favorite Dr. Seuss books. They still talk about it today in the Kingdom of Did, as the year the king got angry with the sky. And they still talk about the page boy Bartholomew Cubbings. If it hadn't been for Bartholomew Cubbings, the king and the sky would have wrecked that little kingdom. Bartholomew had seen the king get angry many times before. But that year, when His Majesty started growling at the sky, Bartholomew Cubbings just didn't know what to make of it. Yet all that year, the old king did it. All year long, he stared up into the air above his kingdom, muttering and sputtering through his royal whiskers. The things that come down from my sky. All spring, when the rain came down, he growled at that. All summer, when the sunshine came down, he growled at that. All autumn, when the fog came down, he growled at that. And all winter, when the snow came down, he started shouting, "This snow, this fog, this sunshine, this rain, blah! These four things came down from my sky." But King Derwin, Bartholomew tried to calm him, "You've always had these same four things come down." "That's the trouble," bellowed the king. "Every year the same four things. I'm mighty tired of those old things. I want something new to come down." "Something new to come down?" Bartholomew gasped. "That's impossible, Your Majesty. You just can't have it." "Boy, don't you dare tell me what I can and cannot have. Remember, Bartholomew, I am king." "I know, sire," said Bartholomew. "You rule the land and you rule all the people, but even kings can't rule the sky." "Can't? Huh!" His Majesty flew into a terrible rage. "Well, maybe other kings can't do it, but maybe I'm one king who can. You mark my words, Bartholomew Cubbings. I will have something new come down." "But how will something new come down?" That was rather hard to think up. And for many days, the old king stomped around trying to figure out some way to do it. Then finally, one night, when all the lords and ladies in the palace were fast asleep, just as the king was buttoning up his nightshirt, he suddenly stopped still. A strange wild light began to shine in his gray-green eyes. "Why, of course!" he began laughing. "Ha ha ha ha! They can do it for me! Bartholomew Cubbings, blow my secret whistle. Quick! Call my royal magicians." "Your magicians, Your Majesty?" Bartholomew shivered. "Oh, no, Your Majesty, don't call them." "You hold your tongue, Bartholomew Cubbings. You do as I command you. Blow my secret whistle." "Yes, sire." Bartholomew bowed. "But, Your Majesty, I still think you might be sorry." He took the king's secret whistle from its secret hook. He blew a long blast down the king's back secret stairway. and a moment later he heard them coming. Up from the musty hole beneath the dungeon, up the empty midnight tunnel to the royal bedchamber tower, came the magicians on their padded shuffling feet. Up and right into the room they came chanting, "Shuffle duffle muzzle muff, fista wista musta cuff. We are men of groans and howls, mystic men who eat boiled owls. Tell us what you wish, O king. Our magic can do anything." "I wish," spoke the king, "to have something fall from the skies that no other kingdom has ever had before. What can you do? What will you make?" For a moment they stood thinking and blinking their creaky eyes. Then they spoke a word. One word. "Oobleck." "Oobleck?" said the king. "What will it look like?" "Well, it won't look like rain, and it won't look like snow, won't look like fog. That's all we know. We just can't tell you any more. We've never made Oobleck before." They bowed and started toward the door. "We go now to our secret cave on Mystic Mountain Necatave. There all night long we'll work for you, and you'll have Oobleck when we're through." "They'll do something crazy," whispered Bartholomew Cubbings. "Call them back, your majesty. Stop them." "Stop them? Not for a ton of diamonds," chuckled the king. "Why, I'll be the mightiest man that ever lived. Just think of it. Tomorrow, I'm going to have Oobleck." It took Bartholomew a long time to get the excited king to sleep that night. But there was no sleep for Bartholomew the page boy. All night long he stood in the king's window, staring out at the mystic mountain Necatave. Somewhere up there, Bartholomew knew the magicians were working their terrible magic. All night the magicians did. All night they walked circles round their magic fire, making magic mumbling with their clucking tongues. "Oh, snow and rain are not enough. Oh, we must make some brand new stuff. Oh, feed the fire with wet mouse hair. Burn an onion, burn a chair. Burn a whisker from your chin, and burn a long sour lizard skin. Burn yellow twigs, and burn red rust, and burn a stocking full of dust. Make magic smoke green, thick and hot. It smells dreadful, does it not? That means the smoke is now just right. So quick before the day gets light. Go magic smoke, go high, go high. Go rise into the kingdom's sky. Go make the Oobleck tumble down on every street in every town. Go make the wondrous Oobleck fall. Oh, bring down Oobleck on us all." Dawn was just breaking, and Bartholomew was standing, trembling, watching at the bedchamber window. But now, as the sun rose, Bartholomew smiled. Those silly magicians hadn't done a thing. Then suddenly Bartholomew Cubbings stopped smiling. Was he seeing fangs. No, there was something strange up there in the sky. At first it seemed like a greenish cloud, just a wisp of green steam. But now it's coming lower, closer, down toward the fields and farms and houses and the sleeping little kingdom. It was swirling around the topmost turrets of the palace. Tiny little greenish specks were shimmering in the air right overhead. Queer little greenish blobs just about the size of a grape seed. He stretched out his hand. He started to catch one, and then he pulled his hand back. There was something frightening about these blobs. Bartholomew slammed the window shut. "Wake up, Your Majesty," he shouted. "Your oobleck, it's falling!" Pardon me as I take a sip of water. This is a long book. The king sprang out of his royal bed sheets. "By my royal whiskers, it is," he cried. "Oh, the beautiful oobleck, and it's mine, all mine!" "I don't like the looks of those blobs, sire," said Bartholomew. "They're coming down now, as big as greenish peanuts." "The bigger the better," laughed the king. "Oh, what a day. I'm going to make it a holiday. I want every man, woman, and child in my kingdom to go out and dance in the glorious oobleck." "Out in that stuff?" asked Bartholomew. "Do you really think it's safe, sire?" "Stop asking foolish questions," snapped the king. "Boy, you run to my royal bell ringer tower, my royal bell tower, and wake up my royal bell ringer. Tell him to ring the holiday bell." For a moment, Bartholomew Cubbings didn't move. "Run!" barked the king. Bartholomew ran. Across the sleeping palace, Bartholomew ran. Then up the ladder of the bell tower he climbed to the bell ringer's little cubbyhole in the belfry. "Ring a bell," he called. "His Majesty the King proclaimed today is a holiday." Shh. The old man crawled out of his cot. He grabbed the bell rope. "What's the holiday for, Bartholomew?" "You'll find out soon enough," said Bartholomew. The bell ringer yanked the rope. Nothing happened. He yanked harder. Still nothing happened. What is wrong with my bell?" he murmured. "I'd better take a look outside." He poked his head out the little trap door. What do you think he saw? "Merciful gracious!" he gulped. "What is that? All over my bell, like greenish molasses." Molasses are like a sticky, gooey, we eat it on a biscuit or some toast sometimes. And that's what this is like. So a bell like greenish molasses. "Not only your bell," Bartholomew cried. Look at the poor robin down there in the tree. She's stuck to her nest. She can't move a wing. The oobleck is gooey. It's gummy. It's like glue." "Oh!" The bell ringer wrung his hand. If this great stuff sticks up robins, it'll stick up people too." "Someone's got to warn the people," cried Bartholomew. "Got to wake them and warn them to stay inside their houses. I'll tell the royal trumpeter," he shouted. "I'll tell the royal trumpeter," he shouted. He turned and slid like lightning down the bell tower ladder. The Trumpeter Tower To the Trumpeter Tower, raced Bartholomew Cubbings on up the stairs, 4 steps at a time. As he ran, he could hear the plop, plop of the oobleck on the window panes. It was pelting against the palace walls, as big as greenish cupcakes now. He yanked the covers off the snoring trumpeter. He shoved the cold trumpet right in his sleepy hands. Get up! Warn the people! Blow the alarm! Alarm! Yawned the trumpeter. Then his eyes saw the oobleck. Those greenish things, Bartholomew. Where'd they come from? The king, panted Bartholomew. His royal magicians made them. The royal trumpeter leapt from his bed. That king of ours, should be ashamed. He grabbed the trumpet out the window and he blew. He shouted, I'll blow, he shouted, the loudest alarm that could ever be heard in the kingdom of Did. But all the royal trumpeter blew was a glug. My horn, he gulped. One of those green things flew inside of it. He tried to blow it out. He couldn't blow it out. He tried to shake it out. He couldn't shake it out. I'll get it out somehow, he yelled. I'll pull it out. No, said Bartholomew. Don't you touch it. The trumpeter's hand was already in it. His fingers grabbed hold of the lump of oobleck. He could feel the squiggle around his fist like a slippery potato dumpling made of rubber. He pulled with all his might. The oobleck began to stretch. Then glong! The oobleck snapped back inside the trumpet. It yanked his arm with it right up to the elbow. I don't know. Wait a minute. He's right up to the elbow. I can't wiggle a finger, the trumpeter wailed. Oh, Bartholomew, what will I do? I don't know, and I hate to leave you stuck to your horn, but if you can't warn the people of the kingdom, I've got to find someone who can. And out of the room and down the stairs raced Bartholomew Cubbings. Down to the chamber of the captain of the guards. The captain was humming in front of his mirror, combing the ends of his handsome mustache. Captain, do something, shouted Bartholomew. Do something? Why? Smiled the captain. What's wrong? Captain, haven't you seen the dreadful oobleck? It's coming down now as big as greenish baseballs. Oh, that stuff? Laughed the captain. What's so dreadful about that, lad? You know, I think it's rather pretty. Captain, pleaded Bartholomew, it's dangerous. Nonsense, snorted the captain. Lad, are you trying to frighten me? Captains, my boy, aren't afraid of anything. That stuff's harmless. I'll show you. I'll eat some. Eat some? Grasped Bartholomew. Oh, no. But before Bartholomew could stop him, the captain was leaning out the window, scooping up some oobleck on the end of his sword. Don't, Captain, don't! Oh, my goodness, he's going to eat it, isn't he? That's kind of crazy. Uh-oh. The captain did, and by the time Bartholomew dragged him back inside the window, his mouth was glued tight shut with oobleck. He tried to speak, but no words came out. All the noble captain of the guards could do is blow a lot of little greenish sticky bubbles. "Forgive me for leaving you, Captain," said Bartholomew, "but a captain full of bubbles is no help at all." Bartholomew stretched the poor man out and left him on his chamber floor. Bartholomew went tearing through the zigzag palace hallways. "I'll get the king's horse. I'll ride through the country. I'll warn the people in the kingdom myself." He pushed open the door to lead to the royal stables. Stables are a place where you keep horses and other animals too, but mainly horses. So he's going to the royal stables. Holy moly, Batman, look here. Bartholomew stopped. He could not go any further. He could go no further. That awful oobleck was plopping down as big as greenish footballs now. Too late to warn the people of the kingdom. There were farmers in the fields getting stuck to their hoes and plows. Hoes and plows are types of farm equipment that we or farmers use to plant things or dig up weeds and things. Goats are getting stuck to ducks. Geese were getting stuck to cows. Outside the palace, it was piling up great greenish tons of oobleck, deeper, darker on every roof in the land. There was nothing Bartholomew Cubbings could do out there. Shaking his head sadly, he stepped back inside.
Where's Dad?
Shh.
Why?
But inside, a moment later, it was just as bad out. With an angry roar, the oobleck was suddenly hitting the palace harder. It was battering and spattering against the walls as big as greenish buckets, full of gooey asparagus soup. Like a sinking sailboat, the whole palace was spraining leaks. The oobleck was ripping the windows right off their hinges. It was dripping through the ceilings. It was rolling down the chimneys. It was coming in everywhere, even the keyholes. From every bedroom in the palace came the howls of the lords and ladies. Frightened in their nightgowns, they came jumping to their doors. "Go back to your beds. Get under your blankets," Bartholomew Cubbings went crying through the halls. Nobody paid the slightest attention. Everyone in the palace started rushing madly about. The royal cook rushed down to the royal kitchen. Bartholomew Cubbins saw him trapped there, stuck to 3 stew pots, a teapot, and a cat. The royal laundress, that's the lady who does the laundry. The royal laundress rushed outside to save her laundry. Bartholomew saw her stuck tight to a clothesline between 2 woolen stockings and the king's best Sunday blouse. He saw the royal fiddlers. They were stuck to their royal fiddles. Everywhere Bartholomew ran, he saw someone stuck to something. They were stuck up by the dozen. Every last friend he had in the world was flopping and floundering, all hopeless, caught in the goo. Then suddenly, amidst the hubbub, Bartholomew gasped, "The king! Where was the king?" He had forgotten all about him. It was the throne room that Bartholomew found him. There he sat, old King Darwin, proud and mighty ruler of the kingdom of Did, trembling, shaking, helpless as a baby. His royal crown was stuck to his royal head. The seat of his royal pants were stuck to his royal throne. Oobleck was dripping from his royal eyebrows. It was oozing into his royal ears. "Fetch my magicians, Bartholomew," he commanded. "Make them say some magic words. Make them stop the Oobleck from falling." Bartholomew shrugged his shoulders. "I can't fetch them, Your Majesty. Their cave on Mount Necatave is buried deep in Oobleck." "Then I must think of some magic words," groaned the king. "Oh, what are those words my magicians say? Shuffle, duffle, muzzle, muff. That's all I can remember. And they don't do any good. The Oobleck keeps falling harder." Shh. Bartholomew Cubbings couldn't hold his tongue no longer. "And it's going to keep falling," he shouted, "until your whole great marble palace tumbles down. So don't waste your time saying foolish magic words. You ought to be saying some plain, simple words." "Simple words? What do you mean, boy?" "I mean," said Bartholomew, "this is all your fault. Now, the least you can do is say the simple words, 'I'm sorry.'" No one had ever talked to the king like this before. "What?" he bellowed. Me? Me say I'm sorry? Kings never say I'm sorry. And I'm the mightiest king in the world." Bartholomew looked the king square in the eye. "You might be a mighty king," he said, "but you're sitting in Oobleck up to your chin. And so is everyone else in your land. And if you won't say you're sorry, you're no sort of king at all." Bartholomew Cubbings turned his back and he started for the throne room door. But then Bartholomew heard a great deep sob. A sob is like a cry. The old king was crying. "Come back, Bartholomew Cubbings. You're right. It is all my fault. And I am sorry. Oh, Bartholomew, I'm awfully, awfully sorry." And the moment the king spoke those words, something happened. Maybe there was something magic in those simple words, "I'm sorry." Maybe there was something magic in those simple words, "It's all my fault." Maybe there was, and maybe there wasn't. But they say that as soon as the old king spoke them, the sun began to shine and fight its way through the storm. They say that the falling Oobleck blobs grew smaller and smaller and smaller. They say that the Oobleck that was stuck on all the people and all the animals of the kingdom of Did just simply, quietly melted away. And then they say Bartholomew took the old king by the sleeve and led him up the steps to the high bell tower where he put the bell rope into His Majesty's royal hands, and the king himself rang the holiday bell. Then the king proclaimed a brand new national holiday in honor of the 4 perfect things that come from the sky. The king now knew that these 4 old-fashioned things, the rain, the sunshine, the fog, and the snow, were good enough for any king in all the world, especially for him, old King Derwin of Did. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this book as much as I did. I love this book. This is one of my favorites. There's also a experiment you can do of making oobleck if you want to look that up on YouTube, how to do that, or find it on the internet somewhere. Any of the little hollering things you heard was Gracie. Have a great day.
No, nothing wrong. Just people stop whatever.